Hello, everybody.
Okay, we're waiting for Dr. Carey to join. But meanwhile, I would like to start by telling that this live event, this live broadcast, is to share with you our plans of this beautiful event that we're going to have in Barcelona during the International Women's Day, which is really an inspiration. This day, this particular day, this time of the March when the nature start waking up, we start seeing these new flowers, we start feeling this butterfly energies in our stomachs, and I feel like this is the perfect time to celebrate the divine feminine, is to come back to our core, is for us women. So this actually life event is for our ladies that are thinking about participating in the retreat, the Divine Feminine Retreat, or if you're not participating in the retreat, it's just a way to celebrate the Divine Feminine. Is to the way to maybe talk about different ancient rituals and also modern traditions and practices to come back to our essence, to come back to our divine essence. So we're waiting for Dr. Carey to join. I'm trying to see if she is still here. Hold on, please. Couple of minutes. Sending her another invite. Okay, she's not here yet, but it's okay. And for those of us that are here today, please don't hesitate to send comments, questions, and we will make sure to address during our live event. Please send me some love over here if you can hear me well, that everything is working nicely. Send me a couple of hearts. Okay, I see Dr. Carey is joining. Dr. Carey, you probably need to send the invite. I see your little heart, so I assume everything is working nicely. Dr. Carey is unable to join. Okay, accept. So it should work in a moment. Yep, it's working now. Hello.
There it is. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Perfect.
So
I see.
I just shared with the group, and we have a good group joining here. I can see some hearts over there going on, some love far away. And I was sharing that the intention for this call is to share about our plans to have this beautiful women-only container for women, by women retreat with the use of different ancient tools and practices as well, with the different modern approach to this as a celebration of a divine feminine is coming back to our essence, just at the time as the spring is coming with all these flowers. We have this butterfly energy in our stomachs, and like something new is coming up. I think it's a perfect time to celebrate this International Women's Day and to celebrate the divine feminine. Yeah.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah, and yeah, I think one of the best ways to celebrate this divine feminine essence is it's with an amazing group of women. And I love doing these retreats because I feel like it really brings together the best that we have to offer for women. You know, the plan for this retreat is to really bring women back home to their original map before their programming, before they were told who they were supposed to be. before they took on all of these roles with these presumed ways of being. And although that's all well and good, right? We all have roles and we all have responsibilities in our lives. You know, some of us are mothers, some of us are, you know, have traditional jobs or less traditional jobs, or we have partners. You know, much is expected of women. And I think we spend a lot of our lives taking on these perceived ways of being and these perceived roles of this is how I am supposed to mother, and this is how I am supposed to be a partner, and this is how I'm supposed to perform my role in whatever field of work you do. And I believe that these retreats and these ceremonies, especially with other women, are an opportunity for us to come home to ourselves and reassess and say, yes, but is that my way of doing these things? Is that really my way of being in the world? And is that my the way that I was created to be? And so it's a really lovely ability that we have, I think, as women to step back and assess and say, how is this working for me, and how isn't it? And how is it an accurate representation of who I am? And if it isn't an accurate representation of who I am, how do I correct that? And how do I get myself back on course? And I think these ceremonial retreats, and especially these ones that we put on as women and holding a container of women, they allow for that reassessment and that reawakening of the divine spirit in every woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's such a beautiful time. It's a very unique event because we host it only once a year. So it's a women-only event, and that's only once a year. And for me, it's a really exciting time because, as you mentioned, it's kind of like going into a different dimension of time where there is nothing else exists but you, and you're held in a container of other women without judgment, without expectation, without any sort of expertise, even in the sense of putting onto ourselves, but to come back to our core, our essence, looking at from the inside out, you know. And I love working with psilocybin in this particular container, in this setting, because psilocybin allows us to look underneath of what is happening in our subconscious, right? So there are probably a lot of you guys seen this iceberg pictures where like 1% is the consciousness and 90% is subconscious patterns, and it's subconscious, it's hidden, it's in a shadow. So there's no other way for us to look unless we first allow it time and like deliberately reassessing. And psilocybin is the tool that helps us to really magnify these hidden patterns, bring it to our vision and to our conscious level, where we can assess what is this limiting belief or not limiting belief, all these belief systems, and look at the inventory of those and see how are they helping us to be the most powerful, the most authentic version of ourselves.
Yeah, I think, you know, psilocybin is such an amazing medicine because it is one of the most studied plants at this point in terms of expanding human consciousness. Most major medical universities in this moment have at least one study going with psilocybin. And we see in functional MRI that psilocybin really disrupts our current neural pathways. And I feel like that can sound scary if you don't know what it means, or if it sounds like this foreign concept, or if it sounds too disrupting, or it sounds scary. But all it means is it causes you to look at your current ways of being, your current ways of functioning, your current ways of living in this world. And it just causes you to be able to say, it gives you just enough distance to say, do I want to keep doing things this way? Or would I like to do them a different way? I feel like sometimes we look at our minds in a way that makes us fearful of like, well, what will I find in there? What am I going to see? What is going to be shown to me? Should I be nervous? Should I be scared? And the reality is, I feel like plants, and especially psilocybin, they just give you a little distance between stimulus and response. They just cause you to be able to say, okay, now I see the way I'm behaving. Now I see what I'm doing. I see my motives behind it. I see why I've been doing it this way for X many number of years. Do I want to keep doing it, or can I find for myself a better way? Do I already think that I know a better way? And so I feel like in this way, psilocybin is such a great expander for these types of retreats. It really allows you to reassess and come into this next evolution of your being in a way that's actually really graceful and joyful and playful and like really connecting. You know, last year we had an all women's retreat, and I feel like it was so beautiful because there's always a little bit of like hesitancy in the beginning of like, oh, like, I don't know all of these other women. And am I really a woman's woman? Like, do I really feel called to an event with all of these women? Is that too much? Maybe that's not for me. And to see that deep sisterhood bond really get forged, and to see that family get created, and to see all of these women really coming together to support other women in their next evolution of being, it was really powerful. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, it's such a good point because people that have joined, can you send me some, thumbs up or something indicating that you have ever been hurt by a woman? And I think in all of our lives we've been, sometimes going around and kind of separating ourselves from other women because, at some point in our lives we've been hurt. And the deepest healing actually in this retreat last year I've noticed is when people heal this sisterhood wound, when they come together and when they find that there are women that actually want to support each other. And there is enormous mystical power in women gathering together and just celebrating each other. It's just, I think it's the biggest medicine above anything else that we will do. And just container of deep healing, of being held by other women, it's deeply empowering and healing. And then what happened afterwards, so they actually had a couple of stories recently from the ladies that attended last retreat, is that they started looking at other women with these eyes. So I'm not going to be hurt by this woman at my job. I'm actually can be supported by her. So let me support her back. And when they started shifting this belief system, right? Because that's what it is. It's a belief system that other women can be a support to you. That's how the life started presenting itself to them, and they got even more empowered. There is another story that a lady actually recently shared with me. She couldn't attend this retreat because she got pregnant, and it was her intention. Her last retreat, she wanted to become a mom again. It's her second child she's pregnant with right now, but she got pregnant because of actually Tamatskali, and we can discuss Tamatskali during this event. But Tamatskali tradition is the rebirth tradition, right? And there's certain seats in the space where it represents that we actually say that if you want to get pregnant, you sit in this place. And she's there, and then the next month she got pregnant. It's really, really beautiful. So, this really beautiful and kind of magical stories coming out of these gatherings together, because we do, if you really tap into your divine feminine, if you really tap into your feminine essence, there is a lot of this mystical, magical power that we hold, and the power of creativity. And that this is what this retreat is about, is getting into this, aligning yourself with this mystical power that we hold, being certain about it, aligning with your intuition, which is really mystical and very magical. and then, you know, making your choices and daily lives around that, you know, and it's really, really empowering.
Yeah, you know, you brought up a couple really useful points, and I think one of them is the myth that even we as women hold as true, which is this myth that has been perpetuated since the beginning of time, that we will compete with each other, that we, when we're put in this environment of togetherness, that women will inherently compete, or that there's jealousy, or that there's this desire not to see the woman next to you succeed. And I feel like this is one of the greatest myths of all time. I have never actually found that to be true, but it's the greatest wounding that we have as women. We are frightened of other women. We are frightened that that they are competing with us, or that we need to compete with them. And the reality is, when I see women together, we are all cheering each other on. We all want each other to succeed. We are each other's greatest advocates, greatest supports. You know, as a woman, without the other women in my life, I really don't know what I would do. They are the most important, profound, moving, changing, expansive relationships in my life. And I think that until we heal that women's wound, that sisterhood wound, we continue to believe something that is entirely different. And it's something that keeps us very small and very restricted and very alone. It keeps us very, very isolated, and it keeps us from sharing our stories, and it keeps us from sharing our magic and our talents and our beauty, because we don't want to show up other women, because what will they think? And the truth is, they only think the best of us. And when we show up as our best, other women, other people show up as their best, and then we all help each other to rise. And I truly believe that, and I believe that through healing my own sister wound, and I know that other women who have healed theirs feel the same. So it's so powerful. Just the medicine of being together as women is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And then, Anna, you started to bring up some of the other things, the other activities that we are doing in this all women's retreat. And the way that we open this all women's retreat is the tradition of Temazcal, which is this ancient sweat lodge. And it's this incredible, incredible experience. Do you want to share more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually a Mayan tradition. It's been around for as long as we probably know humanity. And so it's a sweat lodge. And how it is constructed, right? So we build this kind of like a dome structure on the ground. And the dome structure, it's a tiny one. So in order to get in, we have to actually kind of crawl inside.
Mm-hmm.
The structure represents the womb of the Mother Earth. And then we have a fire, and then in the fire, the volcanic stones, the stones of volcanic matter are heated up. And the stones actually represents the seeds, you know, the semen. So we crawl inside this structure, we sit on the ground, and the volcanic stones that are heated up are brought inside in the middle. We're all sitting inside, and it's dark, and the stones starting to heat up the structure. So it's getting like a sweat. So we're sweating, you know, and we will pour the water on the stones, so it becomes also kind of like a wet sweat. There are some herbs that we put inside also. And then there is a guide, the medicine woman that we have. She's a Mexican medicine woman that her entire family have been practicing this tradition for you know, thousands of years. So she starts singing these special songs with the drum, and pretty soon we're gonna find ourselves in this very deep state of trance. And this is really a rebirthing experience, right? So it's we are going back into the womb of the Mother Earth, and we are reseating ourselves with the good intentions, with the good thoughts. And every single position, every single point there, it's kind of divinely orchestrated, and there is a meaning there. There is a very deep meaning. So they also talk about this meaning. So after some time, we get outside, and this feeling is just it's powerful. We don't take any stimulus, anything, no plant medicine, but it's a very deep, profound trance experience, a rebirthing experience, and purification experience, because we do get purified from anything like all sort of toxins, bad thinking, and then reseeding ourselves with the good intentions and good thoughts.
Yeah, Temazcal is actually my favorite medicine, and it's interesting because it's not a medicine. There are no psychedelics involved. There is no medicine involved except for the medicine of being within community, of being put in a very uncomfortable physical position, right? Because the reality is, it is intense and it does push your body, right? You do get very hot, you get very sweaty, but it's this power not only of the community around you, and that the community around you is there with you, supporting you. And you have this feeling, I think, when you're pushed to your own physical limits of, well, if this person next to me can do it, I also can do it. Right. And so it's this strength, again, like this rising together, because it's like, okay, if my sister next to me is still breathing and still, there's a lot of singing. So she's still singing, she's still praying. She's shoulder to shoulder with me, right? If she's still getting through this, then I myself can also get through this. And so I feel like it's such a powerful community experience. I think it's an experience of your own internal grit and discipline of, I can do this thing that's pushing my own physical limits. And I think whenever you are rebirthed from an experience that has an intensity to it in that way, I think you come out entirely fortified and strengthened and really empowered, right? And so it's this really beautiful way to start the ceremonial weekend, because you yourself end up being so deeply empowered. But the other reason why I love that experience so much is because it's the first experience I had that really allowed me to feel the power and the strength of my own ancestors. Because really, with each door, which is what we call it, each door of Temazcal, because there's the water is put on the hot stones, more hot stones are being put in. It's getting more intense. The intensity is rising. There's prayer. You're in a very dark, enclosed space. And then another door will open and you're praying in another round to different ancestors, etc. And so it was the first really ancient tradition that allowed me to get in touch with my own ancestors and calling in my ancestors for support, for their guidance on my soul's path and my journey, and allowing me to see why I was put on this earth and what I was put here to do. And yeah, it's such a beautiful experience. But for me, those are my favorite aspects.
Yeah, the entire retreat is really, we have to look at it as a one, I would say, like ceremonial process. So it's one one practice going into the other, and we will have practices that will push you outside of your comfort zone and outside of your belief system and so on. Mm-hmm. And then, we will also have different practices and celebrations also, in order to have this kind of comforting and loving and supporting. So we will kind of expand and contract. We will go somewhere a little bit where it's uncomfortable, and the same come back to places where it's cozy and nice and warm and supportive. The end, we will also have a photo shoot session, which is, I think, is a fantastic practice also,
Yeah.
because I have a participant that mentioned that actually, she wants to do it. She's never done it because she never found the self-worth of going and being in front of a camera And all these preparations and tools and empowerment will get you to a place where you will shine, and we want to capture this in a beautiful way. We want to capture this beautiful moment that you will remember afterwards.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the way that our ceremonial retreats are really laid out allows for an expansion and then an integration, right? It's continually allowing you to expand into what you're becoming, and inevitably, and I think we all know, any of those of us that have made really deep, profound change in our lives, that usually does not come from being in your comfort zone. If you continually stay in your comfort zone, you will never expand. You just won't. And so we create these subtle opportunities for growth and expansion, and then the integration of that expansion and the community to really come around you and support you in that expansion. And then once that's been integrated, it's the next level of your expansion, and then integration. And so, yes, I feel like by starting with Temazcal and then allowing people to integrate that experience, by you, Anna, doing your women's empowerment coaching, like really helping women to understand, what am I expanding into? Where do I take aligned action into this next evolution of my own being? And then, of course, I'm going to be teaching a course about alignment. What is it for us as women to come into our own deepest alignment, for us to be fully in line with how we were really designed to be and what we were designed to become in this way of our being, right? In this timeline, who we were really put here to be. And then, of course, psilocybin is such an expander. And then this women empowerment shoot, and really capturing these elements of ourselves that sometimes we don't highlight, or we don't even recognize. A lot of times we don't even see, like you were saying with this one participant, she had never allowed herself to really be captured that way because she didn't see herself that way. And through these experiences, I think we really witness the power and the magic and the beauty and the incredible gifts that we have as women. And then when you recognize them, you can't help but want to be seen and be witnessed in that way, which is, it's incredible to me. To me, that's some of the deepest healing that can happen for us as women.
Yeah. And so we have some men actually joining this call. So you have a lady in your life, a woman in your life that you would like to celebrate, and this could be an amazing gift for the International Women's Day. Of course, she has to know about this gift. She has to agree to this gift. It's a she has to know about, but it's a wonderful gift for a woman that you would like to celebrate in your life. If you are interested in participating, do send us a direct message. Any questions you might have, we're here for you to answer any of your questions, to support you on this journey from the very beginning until really you are a part of a community, so you're never going anywhere. So you will be always kind of within our container with amazing people around you. You will find your people at this retreat that will stay for life.
Wonderful. So thank you everyone who joined us today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to write them. We're happy to answer any questions that you all have. And of course, this is for the retreat that we're offering, this all women's retreat on March 7th through 10th. As Anna said, we're available through direct messaging. If you have any questions for us, if there's anything that we can answer, we're always available to do so.
Yeah, and we have other retreats also coming up, so please check out our website, www.inmewellness.com. We have a few really interesting retreats lined up for you this first part of the year. Okay. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. everyone for joining. Be well.